This guy does not miss. Brandon Sanderson does not
Oh,
miss. You didn't ask, but we're going to be reviewing Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. Yeah, we're going to be starting with the fourth book in a series, but it's because we want to. Maybe we'll retroactively go back and do the other ones.
Yeah, we can see how things have changed since further in the books.
Yeah. So maybe we'll go back. But today, I just finished Rhythm of War, so we're going to be talking about Rhythm of War. And I know this is probably triggering people that I have like 3 different book types, but these things are expensive. So, all right. So we're going to break this down into spoiler-free review. Spoilers. I'm Tyler.
I'm Trey.
So, Rhythm of War, 4th book in the series. What did you think about it?
I mean, it was a great book. It definitely covered a lot of action, a lot of like you learn more about certain characters into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always a lot of action, a lot of lore setting it up and setting up for future and talking about even back past books.
Yeah, I think like one of the things that I really liked in this book is the lore drops. The lore drops were really cool, and the world building in this was insane. I remember when I read, I don't know how you were when you read The Way of Kings. I like, oh, Spren, like that's pretty cool. I can't wait to learn them. And then in what's the second book, Words of Radiance, he kind of gave you the answers for what they were, and I was like, damn, how much more can he add to this? Oh my God, he can add a lot more. Oh my God.
Go a lot of different directions with the different types and different like what they look like, what they like, how they act, how different versions act differently in society, or how they look and change, what clothing they might wear, how they might like look to other people. It's very interesting.
I don't know how you felt, but with this book, I definitely thought it was a little slower though.
It's a very slow burn. It takes a while to. It's drawn out with during certain characters and learning different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Some characters, you don't hear them that often.
But I kind of like that though, because I feel like he does this pretty well. Because in Way of Kings, he did this where when Shallan was the most boring character ever written in fiction, he like she was so boring.
I mean, she was kind of interesting.
I mean,
she was with Yasna.
But before when she was just like traveling and stuff, and I don't know, because I was listening to it when I was like driving to work, and I was like tired on like a 5th day of a 12-hour day, and I'm like, all I need is a nice book to keep me energized, and it's like Shallan just like walking or something like that. It was just so boring.
She literally walked for like a day. Yeah, it wasn't even that long. No. She was on the ship. No. She got on the ship, was drawing, talked to the one ship.
Yeah, that was so boring. But
it's funny. I mean,
but what he did in that book, which he did in this one, is he introduces you to the character. He gets you to the point with the character that you need to get to, and then he stops giving you chapters of the character, which I like, and then he just 400 pages will go by, which is nothing in these books.
Yeah,
considering how fucking big they are. And then he brings them back when they're actually at a fun part in their story. And I think he does this in this book too. We won't get into that right now because of spoilers, but I think he does that in this book, which is nice as well. And I really enjoyed the fact that he's making the villains of this series really fun to read, but also like really deep. Like they're not just like evil to be evil, like they kind of are, but as you kind of get to learn more and more about certain ones, like they actually kind of become more of a character instead of just a villain.
Yeah, you learn they're actually people. They have like dreams, they had like things they like wanted to do, wanted to learn about, wanted to study, but they got changed. I mean, things happened, and then they had to turn into these monsters, but they keep some sanity of themselves over time.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think the cool thing about this book is when a book is this big, how many pages is this thing? This one is 1,000.
From what I remember, it was a 57-hour audiobook.
Yeah.
So
this thing,
for those that are listening, I listened to all the audiobooks. Tyler still has to read the last book.
Yeah.
And he just finished this one. So by next year, he'll finally finish
this book. This book with work and everything, I have to preface, I'm trying to read this in between long days of work and travel and everything like that. How long do you think this book took me to read?
I'd probably say about, I don't know, I'd probably say 4 months.
4 months. It took me 4 months to get through this book. Not because I wasn't reading every day. There was weeks that went by where I wasn't reading, but it took me 4 months. But like earlier in the book, I probably would read like a chapter a day, but in the last 2 days, I think I read like 300 pages. Like it just gets to that point.
Took you 4 months. Took me 18 days.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm just listening to audiobooks at work, during work,
that's
driving.
Crazy.
It was.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good. He does like a really good job of like characterizing everyone and bringing people back that you want to see, giving you more lore bits. Lots of Cosmere. If you guys don't know what the Cosmere is, basically Brandon Sanderson, the author of the book, has created a universe called the Cosmere. Think the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All of his books take place in the universe, and they don't necessarily crossover, but things and Easter eggs and characters might cross over, but you don't have to read the other ones. But if you do, you'll understand the references. And so he definitely has a lot of those in this one, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, and a lot of his references, they aren't like super impactful to the actual story. They're more like side stories of what's happening here and there with certain characters you might know from other books, some certain like beings, maybe some just references to things that might have happened in his other series, Mistborn.
Yeah. So I think overall it was a pretty good book. Okay, so that's our spoiler-free review. On the count of three, Trey, give me your review out of 10 for Rhythm of War. 1, 2, 3.
7.5.
7.5. Oh my God. You're tough. All right. I'm going to give 2 rankings.
Okay.
Because I
didn't give me that option.
No,
okay,
you don't get that option. I'm going to give an objective and a subjective review because they differ. Objectively, I give it like an 8.5, maybe 9. Kind of hype on it right now. Maybe it'll die down. 8.5 out of 10. Subjectively, I give it a fucking 10 out of 10. Dude, I love these books. These books are so cool. It's the only, like the fact that words on a page make me audibly be like, yeah, let's fucking go. Like, that's crazy.
He really keeps you entertained the entire way. Like for those, when I was listening to audiobooks, it was just like, I wasn't really minding just staying listening constantly because it's just always interesting to listen to.
Yeah,
I didn't get bored of listening to his book.
So we're going to go into spoiler territory now. We're just going to ramble about everything in this book. First thing I got to talk about, this is the ending of the book, but we have to talk about it. I was blown away when this happened. Taravangian becoming Odium.
Oh, yeah.
What? That was crazy. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I really thought Taravangian was dead. I thought he was dead. I was like, this guy's,
he really does make it seem like that. But then you always forget though, he got the Night Mother, made him smart and
that was such
compassionate.
Oh my God!
The fact that he remembered that blade, he saw what Zeth was doing throughout the entire book and how he was hiring him to kill different people and what that thing was capable of doing. And then he's like, oh, I remember this blade. I know this blade from his knowledge from the Night Mother. And then he knew to use it at the last moment and get it.
The biggest reveal on top of the other reveals was the fact that Cultivation came to him and was like, you wanted the power to stop what was going to happen. This is the power. It wasn't him being smart and then dumb like we thought, and he thought that was the power, but the real power was leading him to getting Odium's power. Oh, what I can't tell. It's Cultivation. I mean, she's like a god basically. So is she good? Is she bad? I don't. I think the thing about her and the other shards and everything is that they are gods, and so their purpose is to fulfill whatever part of the shard. I had to look up a video to figure out what these shards are because I was kind of confused. And basically, Atalantium or whatever, Atalantium was the god, and then humans and life grew, and then humans. I think it was the humans, or somehow, I forget how, it broke apart. The god of everything broke apart into however many pieces of shards there are, and each one has something different. Kind of reminds me of Horizon Forbidden West. I think they're neither good nor bad. It's just that that is what they are.
Well, so how it works is that each of those gods can have different hosts.
Yeah.
So over time, people can become different hosts of that.
Yeah.
But they are bound by the rules of that god they take.
Right.
So they can't change. If honor has to keep his honor. And if he goes against it, then it hurts him.
Right.
So same thing with Ray's if he went against Odium.
Right.
I don't know. What was he the god of?
Odium's anger, basically.
Anger, rage,
rage,
probably.
war, yeah. Yeah, I think the whole god thing is so cool. I love the struggle. Like again, in the first book, you just think Spren and Parshendi. That's as high fantasy as we're gonna get. And now we're talking gods and avatars and world hoppers and the battle of the tranquiline halls and like all these things. And it's like it just expanded, which I think is so cool. He really does that well in this one.
How about their survival during when the tower was infested?
Yeah.
And they had all these parchment slash fuse slash all these different characters invading, and then everybody went to hiding.
That was arguably, I think, the whole tower invasion is one of the high points of this whole series. Just everything that happens in this between like the very minuscule personal things versus like literally like big bombshells happening.
Now, what do you think about the characters Lift and Kaladin? They were like Kaladin, it seemed like he was close to his fourth ideal, which made sense that he would be stronger, being able to stay awake compared to the like what was that one guy's name? I can't remember. Teft, yes.
They're one of the most important characters.
Well, he's dead. I don't
yeah, I mean that we'll talk about that later, but
well, he got Teft, and he obviously now you know he's dead. But he couldn't respond. He was like conscious. He was kind of talking in his sleep, but Lift, on the other hand, I was trying to figure out if she was close to the fourth ideal, or is the fact that she had that blessing from cultivation.
I think they explain it that it's not necessarily that she's close to the fourth ideal. It's the fact that she is based off of Lifelight, I think, instead of Stormlight. So in the tower was suppressing all Stormlight. And she's not based on Stormlight. She's based on Lifelight, which is why she eats like I do. Like, dude, I wish I could eat like her. She's awesome. I think she's really cool.
Oh, yeah, she's a fun character.
She's a lot of fun. She's like totally different than any other character in the book. So she's definitely one of the top tier ones.
She gets a bit of more action in the last one, but it's not much. It's more, unfortunately, the side stories.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just what she is more of a side character, but it's fun to have like a side character that's pretty characterized and also radiant that we can follow. But I think one of the coolest things was like Rabinal, I don't know. Rabinal. Yeah, so you listen to the people talk. I'm figuring out these names on my own. And it's funny, when I like read these names, in my head, it completely makes sense. And the moment I try to speak the letters, it doesn't make sense to me. Like Rabinal. They like really set up Rabinal to be like this like big main villain. And then she ends up being like a very normal fuse in a way, like very personal, characterized fuse that I like the fact that she's really just like, I want to end the war, however.
Yeah, she was just like, she's like, I'm sick and tired of this. Look what this war has done to my child. And like her child is basically like so like brain dead that it's like just drooling, like needs a caretaker.
That was pretty crazy when she stabbed her child. I was like, damn.
I mean, I can understand that.
It was crazy when she stabbed her, and then with the reveal of why she stabbed her, I was like, wow, this character's awesome. It's too bad she's definitely dying in this. She's definitely dying in this. I mean, I love Brandon Sanderson, but there's definitely some things that are very telegraphed. I said to Trey, before I got to the final chapters, the final couple hundred pages, I said, wow, I just got to a Teft chapter. It's a very, very nice chapter where we characterize Teft. He is 99% dying in this book.
And I was just like, well, you don't know what's going to happen.
99%.
It's a lot worse than you think.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. But I think it like deserved to happen. Like it was very earned. Like he fulfilled his character arc. And it was mostly when he was like, yeah, I'm like happy I stayed back for Kaladin, and like he felt fulfilled that he stayed back, and he felt fulfilled in himself. I was like, oh dude, if you ever feel fulfilled in a fiction story, you're dead. Like you're dead. Like that's immediately you're gonna die the worst painful death. And he did, by Moash Vire, who is so cool, but so
he's such an ass. He's such an ass. Come on, like I'm still trying to figure out, why did he go so far off the deep end?
that was one thing.
Like he was pissed off at the son, the Alucard.
Yeah,
I get that. His grandparents got killed.
Yeah.
He got sent to slavery. He wanted revenge. He almost got revenge. Kaladin stopped him. But then he joined the Fused, or he got like kind of surrendered, joined the Fused kind of bit, and helped like some other normal parchmen learn how to like train, make them like almost like bridgemen, make like his own owns thing, just like Kaladin.
Well, and I also like the fact that he like wears the opposite of the Bridge 4 uniform, like a darker version of the Bridge 4 uniform, because I think that's exactly what it was. He's the Kaladin for the Parshmen, but Odium has taken away all of his empathy. That's why he's gone so far, because he doesn't feel any empathy. He doesn't feel any emotions except I need to do what I'm being told to do.
But I mean, all that before that, like he was working as like moving rocks. He was like doing stuff like that. He's like, I don't. He's like,
it was
Odium came to him and said he wanted to try to help him. And
I think it was like. I think it was Elcar killing his grandparents or unintentionally killing his grandparents. I don't remember everything. And then I think it was the battle with Kaladin back in Words of Radiance that kind of pushed him over that edge. But yeah, I kind of thought that too. I was like, damn, this guy is like pure evil. Like he was like Kaladin's best friend, and now he's just like,
I don't know why he just like all of a sudden just went off the deep end. Like
I don't know.
Like hold like. I guess Kaladin was able to get through his differences, but
I think him and Kaladin are yin and yang. Kaladin is the one who fights through his differences to help people, and Moash is someone who gives in to all of that. And I think that's what changes it. He gave into his depression. He gave into his anger. He gave into what Odium is, and that's probably why Odium saw him and saw his abilities and his whatever, and decided to kind of take him. But I don't really care because that guy is literally Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator in the hallways. I just imagined him literally just floating there with a shard blade, just like eyes glowing red, just down the hallway. Like you can't do anything to stop this guy.
Well, he doesn't have his eyes anymore. So
that's also true.
He got burned to freaking hell.
Yeah, he was awesome. But yeah, Tef's death was really sad, mostly because like
his Spren got killed. Yeah, which that was pretty fucked up.
I thought that's what they were gonna do. I thought they were gonna kill his Spren and then leave him like depressed. But no,
I thought maybe like it would kill the Spren and that would break him.
Instead, Tef just died a brutal death.
just stabbed repeatedly.
Yeah,
died in the arms of Kaladin, and then like.
Well, no, he was dead before that because he got stabbed with the shard blade, the honor blade.
Right, and then Kaladin was holding his body.
Kaladin was just holding his body.
Center.
That was an awesome scene as well, with Kaladin holding his dead body. With like, what was that? I was very confused. Maybe I was supposed to be confused where they're like Kaladin is like glowing yellow, or like his eyes
was he was becoming like Odium's
pawn. That's what I thought.
He was like giving into Odium's power.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, and then he didn't give in.
They talk a little bit about that in like basically explain it more often in the final book, like what that really meant.
Yeah,
but essentially, he was basically being consumed by Odium, or like kind of going into Odium's like grasp to be controlled, just like Moash is.
He's very heavy-handed, Brandon Sanderson. He's very heavy-handed with it. He tells you exactly what you're supposed to feel and what the characters are feeling. But I'm also an idiot sometimes, so sometimes I'm happy that he's just telling me what I need to feel. Because when I'm reading this many words, I need him just to tell me, spoon feed me some stuff. The Pursuer was a pretty cool character. He was just a big, dumb villain brute that had no characterization except for, I want to kill. And he was pretty cool, and I like the fact that we saw multiple fights with him and Kaladin. And throughout each fight, it became less of a fight. The first fight was a legitimate, awesome, cinematic fight. And the second fight was still pretty cool, but he's learning, and it's not as much about the fight. And then the third fight, it's not even a fight. Kaladin just absolutely demolishes him when he ends up winning.
Did he fight 3 times or 4 times?
It could have been 4 times. But yeah, I thought the Pursuer was pretty cool. I like the fact that Kaladin basically just bullies him as like, you're the defeated one.
He's like, whatever. I made you my bitch.
Yeah. He's like, I made you my bitch. Now run.
Every single fused, all the parts.
But I like that because
they're all just like standing there and just watching this.
Yeah. That was pretty sick. They just knew. They're like, all right, let's see this. This is going to be a banger. And it was pretty cool. I like that. So he was pretty cool. And I do like the fact that he does. How did he die? Why am I forgetting how he died?
The Pursuer?
Yeah.
Well, Kaladin killed him.
Kaladin killed him?
L killed him in the end with a fused sword or knife or whatever it was.
Yeah, so that was cool. It's kind of like, again, it's the classic trope of like, okay, we're showing you a villain here, and then a new villain comes in who's here and kills him, so now you know the new power scaling. Very classic trope that Brandon Sanderson used there, but a very good one because, again, I'm an idiot sometimes, so I need him just to tell me, okay, this person's powerful. Navani becoming the bondsmith for the Tower Spren.
I mean, it kind of seemed like that way the whole time, where, the Tower was kind of fighting it, but Navani knew the most about Spren, knew the most about the Fabrials. I know the Tower wanted to become like Erlaine was a good idea, but Erlaine, he gets his own Spren. He's denied. but it made so much more sense with Navani because she knew so much about Spren. She knew she could how to help them, and she could probably make the tower even stronger with different fabrics to make it better.
I mean, I was an absolute idiot throughout the whole thing. I really thought Rlain or David were gonna get it, and then like when
David did seem like a good choice.
Yeah, because
he was listening to it before,
and also he said he was like, oh, like she's gonna heal me or something like that. Like she said she would heal me. That lying bitch. Not gonna heal my boy David. Oh, also when we got to the David chapter, I was like, oh man, that's too dead. Like, he didn't die, but I was like, damn, dude.
He's the last book. Don't worry.
Yeah, every time we got a chapter for a character that wasn't a main character, it was like, oh, dude, their death is gonna be terrible. But not all of them died, which was cool.
It's kind of cool how Raven was became almost like friends with Navani.
Yeah, I think it was more just like respect.
She's like, I'm gonna join my daughter, and just like started trying to fight off Moash, but Moash was just kicking it around.
Yeah, Ravenel was definitely, again, kind of how Kaladin and Moash are the same. Ravenel and Navani were the same, just on two different sides.
They're both scientists. I mean, it made sense. They both wanted to
scholars. They were scholars.
Okay.
We can kill Fuse now, and we can kill Radiance. We can kill Spren. That's pretty. That's a big deal for this book.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like in the next book, they don't use it that often because it's kind of hard to develop.
Yeah,
but it does get some action, and you do see it's like it's kind of a race of who can develop it faster. Yeah. Can the Radiance do it? Can the Fuse do it?
Yeah,
and it's really interesting to learn like how they're using it. Like, can they use it in different functions? Now they have the other thing they can stop Radiance with and / Fused with. The sensors that dampen their abilities.
Yeah, I like it because it's raising the stakes now. Because before, when we first learned about radiant powers and even Fuse, it was like, okay, so you're gonna kill the Fuse and he's gonna come back, or you're gonna stab the Radiant in the arm, even with the Shard Blade, and somehow they can heal with the Shard Blade now. But now it's like, oh, there's actual stakes. Like they could really die. Mostly now that Dalinar can open perpendiculars and everything like that. Like the stakes felt real, but also at the same time it was like, all right, is anyone really gonna die? I mean, my idiotic brain, anytime she was explaining the fabrials and how one goes up, down, and left, I just was like, skim. I was like, I don't know.
I was listening to it and enjoying it. Like, the engineering side of me was like, how does this work?
Yeah, the engineering. I like the fact that it legitimately, like, he writes it in such a detailed way. I'm like, yeah. That makes sense. I don't know why it makes sense, but it makes sense.
It's like you reading a textbook, like,
okay.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like really understand. I'm like, that's like, how that works. If they did this way,
and I'm just like, oh, come on, let me fucking see Seth pull out that sword again, start fighting some people. Adolin's journey to Shadesmar, I thought the beginning was cool, then it kind of got drawn out a little bit.
It got very boring on the ship ride.
Yeah,
it got because it was just Shallan going back and forth.
Like,
who's the traitor?
Shallan,
who's the traitor?
I do like Shallan's character. I think it's funny because usually in these books they have like a character that ends up getting all their backstory, and then it's kind of like, okay, your backstory's done. But Shallan got her story in Words of Radiance, and it's still going. Her backstory is still going.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's Kaladin's. It got kind of done. Like the first book, you kind of learned most of it.
You learned basically all you need to know.
Learned basically
everything from
the end of it in like Oathbreaker, where he's like he came into like acceptance of Tien's death.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, even that's
the
like,
end of it.
That's like accepting it, but like we knew everything about his backstory. Dalinar, we learned everything. Shallan's been going on for 4 books.
I mean,
she's such a deep character that it's really cool.
I mean, it makes sense with her Spren though,
exactly.
Because it's like the more truth she tells, the more powerful she becomes.
But not only that, but
and she hid all this away through like with what was the thief version of her? Veil and Radiant.
Veil.
They each took away parts of her that she kind of like
Veil
take these memories and hold that.
What do you think of Veil finally?
Veil isn't dead.
Well,
she's kind of absorbed.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
She's like still like a back guidance in the back of her head.
Does Veil talk?
Yeah, she still talks.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't have she doesn't become Veil anymore.
Right. Yeah. She just has everything of Veil now.
She kind of like absorbed that personality back.
When it happened in this book though, I was like, damn, like I was like reading it as a character death. And I was like, wait, this is literally just her imagination. But yeah, that whole thing it got a little boring. I liked Lasting Integrity, the Honor Spren's thing, but it got a little boring. And then once we started getting more into her hunting down what Maisie wanted, Maisie.
Mraize.
I don't know, dude.
Mraize.
Who puts Mraize? That's not a name.
This guy did. Brandon Sanderson.
Well, I don't know how. Mraize. I thought the trial was it was cool, but also a little boring.
But Maya speaking, and then like putting all those honors into the freaking.
Yes.
put them on their ass, and like we chose.
So that's what I'm saying is in the beginning, once we learned about Collect, right? Collect being the judge. I was like, oh damn. And then he was like a little bitch, and I was like, oh damn.
Well, yeah. Then the honor sprint like took him away. The honor sprint, they're like, we can't trust him because he's just gonna like go with them.
Yeah, it got like a little boring, a little like cliche for me there. I was like, oh okay, of course, like something's gonna happen at the end. Interesting. I liked it, but it's just like I want to see Navani, I want to see Kaladin, I want to see like that stuff happening.
I mean, there was definitely parts where like I wanted to see like more action.
Yeah.
But I mean, like if you think about it later on, exactly. Like, it was good. It was like, it was a little drawn out maybe here and there, but it was really interesting.
It's really good. Yeah, it's really cool stuff. I guess it was just like the part you're getting towards the end of the book at this point, and it's like, oh man, I just want to see the shit going down, and then the ending with Maya speaking and saying that they bond with the bonds chose together to do this and basically choose to become Dead Eyes.
It's interesting to think about that after the false desolation where they became Dead Eyes, none of the Spren tried to help the Dead Eyes, like try to like recuperate. Like it took one man just talking to his sword constantly to like bring Maya back to semi-consciousness.
Yeah.
Yet they couldn't, out of all the honor Spren, out of everybody, nobody tried.
I mean, I think that's almost like a little bit of like the point, maybe a little bit, is like they just were like, oh, okay, yeah, they're dead. Like honor, like Spren, like their honor, like they said, their honor is not a blanket of honor. It's what they believe is.
Well, even then, like the other Spren, doesn't matter if it was honor Spren, any Spren. I mean, some of them I think still did take care of them. Yeah, but they didn't really help them like recover or try to do
because if they did that, then we wouldn't have this book.
I mean, but that's 2,000 years. Come on, like nobody thought, like, hey, how about we help this guy out and try to see if we can make him better? No, okay, cool.
No, you're not. You're not getting that.
Just this human just talk to a sword and be like insane, but okay.
I hope Adolin gets more to do in the next book because like
he does.
Okay, good. Because with all the people that are becoming super overpowered than him, and he even says he's like, dude, I'm literally
he's getting left in the dust.
He's getting left in the dust, which I guess is a good part because I feel it for him, and he's also
a lot happens. Okay, ending of the next book. Right. A lot happens.
Yeah, well, that'll be in a year when I finish the next.
Yeah, well, I'll be reading the next. I'll probably be reading the next book.
And then, like, the last thing I want to say real quick is, like, kind of a blanket thing. The Sanderlanche. So, for those that don't know, Brandon Sanderson is really known for building up all of his tension in his books throughout all of that. And then at the ending of his books, it just explodes into the biggest, most cinematic, like, epicness that you've ever, like, read. I like the fact that this one, obviously, he still has that, but it's a lot more personal. It's not, like, gigantic armies of millions of people fighting with like sharp blades going on. It's like very personal. Kaladin versus the Pursuer, Ravenel versus Navani, Moash versus Teft, and Moash versus Ravenel and Navani. And then you do have like the Pursuers people versus Leshy's people. Leshwi. Jesus.
You have Leslie.
Okay,
I'm gonna slap you.
Leslie. But yeah, so I say Rhythm of War is a character book. It is character developing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I definitely just enjoyed Oathbreaker way too much. I love that book. Like the very ending where Dalinar just brings the perpendicularities, every single different type.
Oathbringer, not Oathbreaker. That would be bad.
His sword's Oathbreaker.
Yeah.
Oathbringer. Yeah. That book. I loved it. I mean, it was just like he brought every single type.
It was the Avengers Endgame. It was the Avengers Endgame. It was awesome.
With his super sword, you had everybody, and it was just like, what a battle! It was like him controlling the rage. What was that called?
The thrill.
The thrill. That's what it was.
The thrill.
Him being able to control the thrill, and he's like, I'm going to give this up. Nobody needs this anymore. And even though it made him the Blackthorn.
Yeah.
He just was able to like sacrifice that and then condense it and put it in one of his gems.
Rank all 4 books: Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, Oathbringer, and Rhythm of War from least favorite to favorite.
All right, so Oathbringer, definitely number 1.
Okay, I thought you were going to say Oathbringer coming in last. I was like,
no.
Okay, Oathbringer.
I love that book. That book was great. Just learning about Dalinar's past, and learning how he was an absolute freaking unit.
Yeah. Oh my god, this guy was
almost in the thrill, almost like slaughtered his brother. But and they phrased like in the next book, they like you see like what he looked like. It was like him in armor, red eyes glowing, dragging a dead body behind him with his sword towards his brother is scary.
Yeah, it's so awesome. He's so cool.
Covered in blood, and it was just, that was sick. So I would say Oathbringer. I want to say the first book, The Way of Kings, would probably be my second favorite.
Yeah.
You kind of learn more about the characters, a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Kaladin deflecting all those arrows
that
and all
cool.
that stuff. That was probably number 2. Rhythm of War would be 3.
Wow, you're putting Words of Radiance last?
I don't remember anything about it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Okay, so
you just said that Words of Radiance is your least favorite out of the 4. Wow.
Because
Hot
the only
take.
reason is because it just seems like from Way of Kings to Words of Radiance, it just seems like one long book.
Yeah, no,
I always think like Words of Radiance, I keep forgetting it because I think it's in the Way of Kings.
Yeah, okay.
It's just because these like all like different things have suddenly changed.
Each one,
Like Oathbringer, they're in the tower. Rhythm War, they're defending the tower and doing all this stuff down or somewhere else. It's still good. This Words of Radiance was good. It just feels like it's too close to like.
That's a crazy take because everyone says it's the exact opposite. Everyone's like Words of Radiance is way above.
It just seems like it just goes. It's
no, but I get what you're saying. For me, least favorite, and all these are 5 out of 5s for me. Like,
they're all great.
They're all.
I love them all. I listen to all of them.
Number 4 for me would be Way of Kings.
We'll say I did not like in Way of Kings Kaladin's backstory because I was so boring.
Bored.
I was losing my mind. I'm just stop talking about looking at rocks.
Yeah,
I want to do something fun.
Yeah. And then coming in number 3, I'm gonna put Rhythm of War just because it's an awesome book. A little slower in parts. Took me 4 months to finish. So no, I love it, but I just think the other 2, Words of Radiance, I do think some of Shallan's backstory, although it was really cool, definitely dragged a little bit. And it got really cool, although other people love it. I think it dragged a little bit.
Some pretty interesting things about Shallan.
Yeah.
That like you won't expect.
Yeah.
About this whole thing, like how like originally her mother died and whatnot. So you learn quite a few different things that you didn't expect in the first one.
But the ending, the Sanderlynch, the ending climactic fight
that
is so.
I will say that was
awesome.
The coolest part of that. The whole battle. The planes getting torn apart.
Oh my god! And then Seth and Kaladin fighting in the air and whatever. That was awesome.
I mean, that was very cool. But it was just like the fact that book just seemed like a continuation of the Way of Kings. It's just I always think it's the same.
Yeah, and number 1 is Oathbringer. Dalinar's backstory is so epic. There was moments where I was like, I don't care about what's happening in present day. I want to see Dalinar destroy everything. The reveal of him with his wife was awesome. I mean, that book is in the ending endgame, Avengers Endgame of the Stormlight Archive was awesome. So.
And the fact that he became starting to write a book.
Yeah.
And then he's like looks up and there's his old sword just above his thing. So he always remembers. Yeah. And he learns the true words of like what it is to be a man.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. But anyway, that's our review. That's our long talk about Rhythm of War. We love this book. I'm going to be reading the next book, Wind and Truth.
So this next podcast will release in probably 2026 when Tyler finally finishes that book.
Yeah.
That brick. Pull that brick. Pull that cinder block right now.
Somehow they keep getting bigger and bigger.
So this one was 57 hours.
Yeah.
That one is 63.
Oh my god.
That was for the audiobooks. It was a lot.
That's crazy. All right, so that is our review of Rhythm of War. You didn't ask, but we don't care. We gave you it anyway. That's it. We'll see you on the next one.